Karl-Anthony Towns looks like a legitimate MVP candidate and all-star starter for the New York Knicks this season, and the NBA is terrified of this. They also have a superstar in Jalen Brunson, and despite a slow start and some weird coaching decisions by head coach Tom Thibodeau, the New York Knicks are going to figure things out, and Karl-Anthony Towns playing this well should scare NBA teams, and we're going to break this all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video today. Now, real quick, yes, I was against the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. Pretty quickly changed my opinion. This is not the first time I've said that. And also, when I made that Julius Randle video, it was just about Julius playing well. Did not have to do with the trade outside of, hey, this former Knicks playing well. So before you say that I'm flip-flopping in the comments, there you go. But Karl-Anthony Towns looked phenomenal this season with the New York Knicks. I mean, since he became a New York Knicks, the man's putting up 26.5 points per game, 12 rebounds, shooting 53% from the field, and 51% from three. He's leading the team in points, rebounds, blocks, and threes. The man looks like an NBA All-Star starter, not just an All-Star. He looks like he's going to have a major impact on this team for the next 4 years as he's on the roster and maybe more. Towns has been everything the New York Knicks could have dreamed out of him. His offense is phenomenal. I mean, the man's going for 40 twice in his first 10 games with the New York Knicks, against Bam Adebayo being one of them, in Miami, I should say. It's not like he's putting these up just against bad teams like the Chicago Bulls. Karl-Anthony Towns has been going out there, and the man looks absolutely incredible. Look, I mean, he's a three-level scorer. He's the best three-level scorer of all big men in basketball with the versatility that he has. He could play the 4, he could play the 5. He just walks up the court and cashes threes. He's hitting end ones. He's got such a smart offensive game that we're clearly seeing that once Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns do get a rapport together, they're going to have the best pick and roll in basketball. There's not going to be anyone else who really comes that close, and it's going to be super helpful for the New York Knicks going forwards. I mean, just looking at these numbers that he's putting up, it's incredible to see the way that he's just playing just a brand of basketball where he looks like he is the best player on the New York Knicks. Now, after the New York Knicks lost this game to the Chicago Bulls last night, a game in which Towns put up 46 points and 10 rebounds, the first thing he did was shooting free throws in the postgame, still in uniform. Now, Towns missed a clutch free throw in the game, and clearly it was eating at him. Towns was not happy with the way the game ended. He didn't care that the Knicks won, he didn't care that he put up a ton of points because the Knicks didn't win the game. And frankly, he's just everything you want out of a guy with that New York grit and determination. The Knicks are 5-6, and I do think they're going to figure things out eventually. I mentioned in a video, I did think the Knicks were going to struggle over the first 20 to 25 games of the season and be somewhere around 500. So this 500 run is not going away anytime soon, if you ask me. But sometime around middle December, I do think we'll see the Knicks in around a month from now really start getting it going, really start cooking. And we're seeing it. There's determination within the team. Jalen Brunson was upset they lost. Everyone was upset they lost. Josh Hart took the blame for the foul he committed, in which the NBA said that it absolutely was a foul, which it was. I mean, he put his hand on Kobe White while he was shooting. He put it on Kobe White's lower back. You cannot do that. That's a foul. It is what it is. There were other bad calls that game. Whatever. What are you going to do? It's game 11 of the season. I'm really not concerned at all. But the New York Knicks are, and I love to see that they are concerned. I'm allowed to not be concerned. I don't play for the Knicks. All I do is talk about them, so it's completely different. The New York Knicks are not happy with the way this season's gone so far, and Karl-Anthony Towns is exemplifying that right here. He put up a great game. He has no business staying around and shooting after. He's doing it because he's not satisfied, as Knicks Moose mentioned. Now, also, when he was asked about the game, he said, if there's no W attached to it, then it's a bad night. Towns didn't care about his 46-point game. It didn't matter to him. I mean, look, he's not thrilled there. He looks pretty upset with what's going on. It doesn't seem like he's just lying. He genuinely is bothered by the fact the New York Knicks are not winning more games, and it's exactly what you want to see out of a guy who you just traded for, who has just this absurd work ethic, who wants to win. Because if there's one thing you could always say about Julius Randle, who did give some inconsistency to the Knicks, but was overall phenomenal player, one of the better Knicks all time in history. I mean, I have all love for Julius, as I think most of you guys know if you've been following the channel for a while. Julius had his inconsistency problems, but we know that he was a competitive psychopath. He would have said the same thing, and you know he would have meant it. Karl-Anthony Towns is showing that the Knicks didn't trade for someone soft like I feared. Karl-Anthony Towns is showing that he wants to win, and he wants to win at all costs, and he's prepared to do that. I mean, he got mentored a lot by Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett liked what he saw. Jimmy Butler didn't. There were conflicting opinions, especially because it came out that Jimmy thought the Towns didn't want to win. Well, Towns clearly wants to win. I mean, he put 40 some odd points on Jimmy Butler's head. Well, not Jimmy Butler specifically, but on Jimmy Butler's team, and Bam Adebayo's head, who's one of the best defenders in basketball, just a few weeks ago. We're seeing that Karl-Anthony Towns wants to win. We're seeing that he wants to win for the Knicks. We're seeing that playing for the Knicks is giving him that extra grit and determination that some believed he would have, considering the fact that he is back home. Now, as he said, we win together, we lose together. He doesn't care about his stats if it doesn't come away with a W. That's the overall underlying line from Karl-Anthony Towns. He does not care what happened. He cares about what... He doesn't care what happened when it comes to himself. He cares about what happens when it comes to the New York Knicks and the team as a whole. And that is exactly what you need out of a Knicks team that is built off teamwork. I mean, you have a lot of talented players out there. Jalen Brunson's a top 10 player in basketball. Karl-Anthony Towns looks phenomenal. OG Anunoby's having the best season of his career so far, 10 games in. I mean, Mikal Bridges is struggling a bit, but you also know he'll figure that out. The Knicks are a good team. Josh Hart's doing everything right, having the best season of his career. Deuce McBride's having the best season of his career. The Knicks are a good team. Even with these injuries, they're a good team, and they're going to figure things out. And clearly you could see that because how upset they are with every loss, that they're not just taking this in stride and moving on with it. They're getting bothered by these losses every single time they lose. It's the same rhetoric. They're upset they lost. They're not okay with this. They're not going to let it keep happening, and then they lose again, and they say the same stuff. But it makes you feel like they're going to figure this out. The New York Knicks are not a team like the New York Jets who are completely incompetent. The Knicks have found competence throughout the 2020s. Not 2020, but 2020 to 2021, we saw the New York Knicks figure out competence under the Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau era. And it makes you realize that the Knicks do exactly know what they're doing here. They're a smart team. They understand how to win games. And it's why they brought in Karl-Anthony Towns, because Leon Rose, Karl-Anthony Towns' former agent, knew that Towns was going to work to win games with the team. And now we've seen that as a certainty. While he's having one of the best seasons of his career, in his last 8 games, the man is putting up 30.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 3 assists while shooting 50% from the three-point range. He had that one game where he put up like 8 shots. Since then, I mean, there's been no going back. The man has looked like one of basketball's best scorers, which he absolutely is. He looks like there's no reason at all why he shouldn't be an all-star starter in the Eastern Conference this year, especially considering that Joel Embiid has played, that one game against the Knicks, played like trash because he was clearly injured. There's really no one else, because there's Giannis and Tatum who are going to start in the front court for the Eastern Conference, obviously. Towns is the other guy there. I mean, he's the 4th best front court player in the Eastern Conference anyway. Embiid's not playing. It's pretty clear who it is. It's Karl-Anthony Towns. You make him an all-star starter. If he keeps playing like this, there's no doubt he's going to be an all-star starter and that he's going to be an all-NBA player for the team. Towns this season is top 10 in points per game. He's 10th. The guys above him, such as Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's the first option. Anthony Davis, who's the first option on the Lakers most of the time. LeBron's kind of a weird case. Jason Tatum, who's the first option. LaMelo Ball, who's the first option. Jokic, who's the first option. Luka, who's the first option. Shea, who's the first option. Edwards, who's the first option. And then Kevin Durant, who's kind of a hybrid with Devin Booker, but definitely with the way Devin Booker's having an underwhelming season thus far, Durant's kind of the first option. Towns isn't necessarily the first option. We're seeing that he's a hybrid with Jalen Brunson. The man's still top 10 in points per game. Once the Knicks keep working that ball to him and realize that he should probably be the guy doing most of the scoring because the Knicks have been working switches where Towns gets a small defender on him, the man's points are just going to keep going up. We're seeing one of the best scorers in Knicks history before our eyes, and it looks like it's going to stay this way. I am curious to see what happens when Mitchell Robinson comes back, to see kind of how Towns will fare at that power forward spot when those two play together. And we'll get a little bit of a preview of that when Precious Achiuwa comes back, though he has not been cleared for contact yet. I'll probably do a bit more on that in the near future. But for now, that's what I got for y'all. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.